Welcome back to the Midwest. We are back into two truths and a dad joke. Today we're talking about gratitude. Now, when it comes to gratitude, it's almost a cliche topic. You've heard this for decades, I'm sure. Hey, put yourself in a state of gratitude. But is there really anything to it? Let's talk about it today. Truth number one, gratitude boosts dopamine and serotonin, acting as a natural antidepressant. Now, there have been a lot of people over the years write about gratitude, but there was a book that came out in 2015 called The Upward Spiral. It's by an author named Alex Korb, and he gave all kinds of interesting information in this book. It's really good. Highly recommend. Go ahead and take a look at. We'll have it linked in the show notes. Some of the research that he showed, it did directly link serotonin increase and dopamine increase to a gratitude journaling process. And he cited a study. The study was published in the PNAS in 2014. And in this study, participants who wrote gratitude letters for 3 weeks showed a 10% higher dopamine level. And the other thing that was really kind of cool was there was a 35% reduction in depressive symptoms compared to control groups. Now, in MRI scans, it was also shown that when people were in this state of gratitude, they had a higher activation of the prefrontal cortex. Now, you may be familiar with the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain that's responsible for self-control, better decision-making. It's the part of your brain that you wish you would have used more when you were in high school. And hey, you know what? We all have to live with that. We all have to live with it. So when we're in the state of gratitude, not only are we having an improvement in our dopamine and serotonin levels, it seems as though our ability to make better decisions increases. Now, this seems to link to a positive feedback loop. You may have heard me talk about the negative feedback loops. There's so many negative feedback loops we get into, but you actually can induce a positive feedback loop according to this research. So the interesting thing is, it seems as though because of the activation of the prefrontal cortex, when we are in the state of gratitude, we're more likely to make decisions that are going to lead to positive outcomes, which of course is a lot easier to be grateful for, which leads to us having that state of gratitude, the activation of the prefrontal cortex, and boom, 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 we start to see a positive feedback loop that can lead to amazing things in our lives. So what are you grateful for? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, you don't have to put everything down there. The most important thing is to start that gratitude journal. Just 3 weeks to see those improvements. Take a look at the research. We've got it cited below. Truth number two, gratitude physically rewires the brain to enhance emotional resilience. Okay, you might be saying, Jesse, I don't understand. How is it that doing this gratitude journal is going to rewire my brain? Let me tell you how. There was a UCLA study that found that 8 weeks of gratitude journaling thickened the prefrontal cortex, improving emotional regulation and reducing anxiety. And of course, this research supports the research we just talked about before, in that it seems as though having a gratitude practice, now this was an 8 week versus a 3 week in the previous one we talked about, but having these gratitude practices do seem to have a positive impact on our prefrontal cortex, leading us to make better decisions and being more emotionally resilient. So I think we're gonna have to do a gratitude journal, right? In addition to that, there was a 2019 study that was published in the Frontiers of Psychology, where they did fMRI scans that showed a strengthened connectivity between the amygdala, which is our emotional center, and the hypothalamus, which is our stress regulator, helping individuals recover faster from negative stimuli. So this is really interesting because we naturally have negative biases. It's sort of just a natural defense mechanism that we have in the unconscious parts of our brain to try to help us, to try to keep us safe. But what we're seeing is that when we practice gratitude, we have a higher propensity for a positive bias, thinking, you know what, things may actually go just fine, things are going fine. And that leads to, again, what we talked about before, making better decisions, being more emotionally resilient, and making decisions that you're about to be more grateful for too. So having that positive feedback loop that leads us to this positive bias. So are you ready to start journaling yet? And now we have come to maybe my favorite part, the part that it's kind of like the dessert at the end. You've learned some things. Hopefully we're all getting into some gratitude journaling. But now it's time for the dad joke of the week. And I just want to apologize. I just want to say I'm sorry ahead of time. Here we go. Please forgive me. What did Dad say when he was asked to say grace before dinner? Grace. It was kind of like whenever you say, hey, Dad, I'm hungry. And he says, hi, hungry, I'm Dad. Get it? Okay, well, that is the fun of this show. Actually, you got two dad jokes there. Do you have a better dad joke? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to go out there and be kind to one another.